And here we are at number 2. And this must be a fire break.
You want me to read?
Yes, please.
Visitors are standing in an unusual place along the San Andreas Fault. Although this area is in a fault zone, it's still elevated. The headwaters for Stevens Creek, which flow to the south, and Los Trancos Creek and Corte Madera Creek, which flow to the north, begin on this ridge. Typically, nature exploits weaknesses, such as the crushed or broken rocks found in the fault zone. These areas erode more quickly and are lower in the landscape. Remember that Stevens Creek Canyon marks the fault to the south. On the other hand, areas that are made of harder, less erodible material stand up high in the meadow. From here one can see the wide valley that delineates the fault to the north. Notice Crystal Springs Reservoir and San Andreas Lake.
That must be the lake.
You see water, that's what they're talking about. They're part of this well-defined valley. These reservoirs were built in the late 1800s to store water for San Francisco. Little did the engineers realize that the natural depressions that made this valley the perfect location to store water were created by an active fault.
Okay.
Just try to identify Loma Prieta, blah, blah, blah. There it is. We're on the eastern edge of the plate. San Andreas is the boundary. Look at the large boulders at one's feet. This is conglomerate, the sedimentary rock made of round pebbles. Came from Loma Prieta. There must have been about 12,000 major earthquakes in the time since these boulders tumbled downstream to get them here. You can find clues here in the fault zone, the shallow but significant depression below. In the winter, it catches water, becomes a marsh. It's called a sag pond. And aside from human-made stock ponds, there's only 2 types of places in the range where they are found: fault zones and landslide areas. This is created by the 06 earthquake. This indicates the Earth's crust was stretched, allowing parts of the hillside to sink. The line of posts with white stripes on the other side marks a minor fault zone. And there you have it.
And we are, along with it being Tim's fault, it's also Steve's fault.
No, it's Jay's fault.
It's Big Brother's fault.
This way to begin with.
Yes, Big Brother's fault. And that ends our walk along the trail.